All right, guys, if you know anything about success, it takes more than just one thing, right? There's a lot of different things that go into making that recipe successful, a lot of different ingredients, if you will. I want to share one thing today that's become a non-negotiable in the way that I begin every week. And I'm recording this podcast on a Monday morning, right after I had a meeting with my executive assistant, Maura, and we went through this exercise, and I realized, I remembered how much clarity this thing gives me. And I wanted to hop on and hit record and share it with you guys because I think that we're all in the same boat, right? Where we take on a lot of different things. We have a to-do list that's an endless to-do list that's a mile long and just keeps getting longer and longer and longer each day, no matter how many things we check off that box, right? And we can be in this position where we're doing these things every day and we're being busy throughout the week, but sometimes we feel like we're not really moving the ball forward. Like we're just kind of like a cog in the machine and we're checking things off and we're never really building that momentum in our businesses or in our lives. And I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to get to the end of a day, a Monday, or to get to the end of the week, whether it's Friday or Saturday for you, whatever that is, and to feel like, man, I'm exhausted. I've been busy all week. I've been working 8-hour days, 14-hour days, whatever that is for you. But I feel like I haven't really accomplished anything significant. And when I look back, maybe you see that a post on social media where someone's like, hey, what are your wins for the week? Or what are the big things that you accomplished this week? Sometimes you can't think of anything, right? Because it's all these little things which, are necessary, right? But sometimes we can't really grasp what are those big things that I did accomplish this week? Well, I'll be honest, I kind of had that feeling at the end of the day last Friday. It was a short week. I was coming back from vacation. I was doing a whole bunch of things, had a bunch of meetings, helped out a bunch of team members, onboarded a couple new clients, did, a lot of good things in the business. But at the end of the day, Friday, I wasn't able to look back and say yeah, I really made progress on this big project, or I really got these three big things done, right? And so I wanted to revisit that first thing this morning in our Monday morning meeting, and then again with you guys. So the one big thing that I promised you at the beginning, here's what it is. Monday morning, or if you want to plan Sunday or the Friday before, whatever that is for you, write this sentence out, type it out, write it in the notes on your phone, write it out in your notebook, whatever it is. I win the week when and list your top 3 to 5 priorities for that week. Now, these are outcomes. These aren't things like I'm working on or I'm going to call this guy, right? These are the big priorities that we have that are going to move our business forward. These things might come from the quarterly initiatives that we have as a company or as an individual. These things might come from, time sensitive things like projects that we know we need to get done. And so list out these 3 to 5 things to where at the end of the day on Friday, the end of your work week, you can categorically look back, categorically meaning yes or no, and know that you got those things done or you didn't. Again, it's not I'm going to work on this, I'm going to, do this little thing. It's these projects that I'm going to complete and define what complete looks like. Okay, so this is something that Maura, my executive assistant, and I went through together in our Monday morning meeting. And we use Slack to communicate as a team. So after our meeting, I Slacked her the 4 priorities that I have for this week, and she Slacked me the top 3 priorities that she has for this week. Now, of course, we're doing many other things, right? There's going to be other things. We have time blocks and everything like that, meetings, calls, you name it. But at the end of the day, Friday, we're going to check in again and say, hey, how did I stack up against, did I do these 4 things? Did she do these 3 things? And we know that regardless of whatever happens during this week, if we get those things done, we know that we're moving the ball forward. We know that we are chipping away at those quarterly rocks that we have, okay? So let me dive into a couple examples here, okay? I'm gonna share a couple things that aren't very concrete, and I'm gonna share a couple examples of what is a concrete thing. Ideally, we want these things as specific and as measurable and as concrete as possible. So at the end of the week, we can look at that list and we can say yes or no, okay? There's no in between. It's yes or no. It's categorical, okay? So there's a couple things that are on here that are not very specific, okay? One of those examples includes Google Drive research. That's not a complete priority because we don't like, what does done look like? So at the end of the day on Friday, it's going to be hard to look back on Google Drive research and say, yes, that's done or not, like, because that's not really defined, right? So what would be a definition of done? So instead of Google Drive research, you could have present an action plan to the leadership team on how to organize our Google Drive. So that is a categorical thing. You know if it's done or if it's not, right? Another example. Talk with Sydney about our monthly high-level marketing meeting. You could say maybe that's yes or no thing, but that's not very specific, right? So more specific would be talk with Sydney and finalize our SOP for the monthly high-level marketing meeting, okay? So the thing that's done is you're finalizing the SOP doc, the standard operating procedure, so you know that that thing's done, okay? Much more powerful than just talk to Sydney about this thing. So this is like real stuff. I'm reading on my computer right now. This is Slack between me and Maura. I'm just going through and like sharing like how we go through and get more specific with our action items so that we can hold ourselves and hold one another accountable and so that we can get more done as a team. So a couple of my priorities, just looking at the Slack down here, one of mine is send out our Q2 meeting agenda by the end of the day on April 24th, which is today, okay? So that is a tangible thing. Like it's not done until I send out our meeting agenda to our leadership team for our Q2 meeting on Friday, okay? I could have just put work on agenda for meeting. And that's like very nebulous. It's kind of gray. Is it done? Is it not done? I know if it's done. Like if that email is sent and that agenda is sent, then I can check that off my list, right? So that is what complete looks like. Another thing on my list here is present our marketing strategy, our updated marketing strategy to our leadership team in our Q2 meeting on 4/28, okay? So that is a tangible to do. I'm going to present that to a leadership team in our meeting on 4/28. That's done. Friday night, I'll be able to check that off and say, yes, I accomplished that. So I have 4 things on my list. Those things, when I accomplish those things this week, I will have won the week. And regardless of whatever happens throughout the week, I know that I'm moving the ball forward on these big things that are important, not necessarily urgent. They're not the fires of the day, but these are the important things that I, as a CEO, need to get done for our business in order to continually move the ball forward. So the next thing I need to do is not just list these things out and hope that they get done, hope that I find the time to get these things done. Guess what? They're going right in my Google Calendar, okay? So Maura and I, on our Monday morning meeting, we are sharing screens, we're sharing our calendars, and we're putting these things in our calendars to make sure that we have the time. If we don't have the time, well, something else needs to get bumped, right? Because if this is a priority and it's not in my calendar, then guess what? It's not a priority, right? But if it's a priority and it's in my calendar, the next thing I have to do as a leader is make sure that I am actually doing what's in my calendar and not screwing off, right? So there are a few steps here that need to get done. Stepping out and looking at the big picture, we need to understand, number 1, what the vision for the company is and for our role. Number 2, what our annual plan looks like. Number 3, what our quarterly rocks priorities look like. And then before we start each week, we need to make sure that we are prioritizing tasks for each one of those rocks, those priorities, putting those in our calendar, sharing them with our team for that added level of accountability and collaboration, and then ultimately making sure that we actually do those things that are in our time blocks, that are in our calendar each week, and then complete them by sending them to the team, publishing them, checking whatever it is that we need to do to finalize them, right? So those are a few different steps, but the basic practice here is don't begin each week without understanding what winning the week looks like for you. That could be one priority, okay? That could be one thing. It could be 5 things. I recommend no more than 5 because then it's just too much, right? We have other things going on. 3 to 5 is a good kind of sweet spot for making sure that you're getting those things done every week and continually moving the ball downfield. All right, so that is something that just kind of a little inside baseball, something that we're doing internally to make sure that we are operating in terms of our core values, making sure that we get our important and non-urgent things done, and just kind of working together as a team to hold one another accountable. I want to share more content like this with you guys just to kind of show you what we're doing. We're implementing EOS. We are helping our clients implement a lot of these different things. Like we help our clients with marketing. That is our primary primary focus here at Contractor Dynamics. However, if we don't prioritize marketing, if we don't have time for it, if we don't put it in our calendars, then it's just not going to happen. So we found ourselves like becoming trusted advisors for our clients and helping them out with these different things that might not relate directly with marketing, because ultimately they help us to become better leaders and to build better, more successful companies. All right. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to send me an Instagram DM at HeyJosephHughes. Love to geek out about this stuff. I really do. This stuff's awesome. I really, this year, made it more of a focus to invest in my personal development, invest in our team, coaching our team, guiding them, leading them. It's really fun because if we're able to, when I'm able to invest in our team and coach our team, they're able to invest in coaching our clients and helping them level up, and everyone wins. I hope this is valuable for you. Go through the steps in this video, talk with your team, share with your team, get that added layer of accountability. If you have any questions or you want me to hold you accountable, again, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at HeyJosephHughes, and I'll talk to you soon.